Greetings to each and everyone who are watching this video. And this video is the purpose to implement a new system in a commissioning plant. Wherever in the world, if you are involved in a commissioning, this kind of implementation will be support to have a safe work environment. So we can title this training program as Commissioning Hazards and Control. Let me jump into the PowerPoint. So what is commissioning? Is the dynamic verification of equipment and facilities which are together into operational systems or part of a system. Okay. Example, assume that you have a computer, you have a CPU, you have a printer, you have a bunch of papers. The final thing, what is the requirement there? A single paper is to be printed out, right? Got it? So the same thing wherever you are working in the industry. Example, if it is a power plant, what is the final stage? The power supply should be exported to the grid. If it is an oil and gas, the same thing. The oil should be extracted. The final thing, it should be exported, right? The same thing only here, what we can do in the commissioning plant. Example, there are electrical panels, electrical cables, DCS signals, pipelines, motor, pumps, etc. etc. So these all materials we are not purchasing from a single vendor or single supplier. It has been purchased from various suppliers. So each suppliers in the market, they will be giving a certificate that their material is the very best material in this world. But what is our requirement? Commissioning is the process of assuring that all systems and components of a plant are designed, installed, tested, operated, and maintained according to the operational requirements of the client. We have our own requirement to run a plant or to run an industry. Okay. So according to this one, we need to commission all the materials which we have purchased. Example I said before, we can assume about the computer system. The computer monitor can be energized separately. The CPU can energize separately. The printer can be energized separately. The internet system can be energized separately. But if you energize everything and separately, we will be not receiving our final output. Okay. As I said, our output is to print a paper. The same thing only in a power plant or in oil and gas or in any industry, food industries, anywhere. So our final output, what is that? So to get that output, we need to merge all these. As I said, electrical panels, electrical cables, transformers, motor, pumps, everything to be merged. Okay. After merging only, we will be getting the final output. So during this type of commissioning activity, what will be the potential hazard? Maybe in that plant, there will be a potential hazards like electricity, steam, chemicals, hot surfaces, flammable oils, flammable and toxic gases, hot water, moving parts, high pressure oils, loud noise, vibration, sudden changes in the environment, working in confined space and strong odors. So the potential of serious accidents is very clear for us. Okay, to prevent these potential disasters, it is vital that to be a system of work be in place. So the risk rate, whenever you are going to work in a commissioning project, okay, before commissioning, what might happen there? There will be a construction team who started from the ground level in the project. So once the construction project has been completed of 60% of their work, the commissioning team will enter to the project. If it is in a power plant or whatever industry, okay, that is common. So that will be a big that will be a very most critical phase of that project, because there are two separate teams who are entering to the project. During this phase, system will get energy from different sources, all while workers will be proximity to or busy with jobs or different types of live equipment. The presence of this energy will increase the probability rate and potential severity of accidents. A small example. If you take a room, if there is a room has a 2-3 power supply outlets, okay. In some of the projects or in some of the locations, maybe they won't design from a single circuit. Okay. Example, if you take this room also, if there are 10 light fittings, all this 10 light fitting will be not energized from a single breaker or a single electrical circuit, right? In this condition, it will be having 2-3 breakers with the 2-3 different electrical circuit from different electrical panels also, right? Because due to shutdown or due to blackout, that should not affect the location, right? So due to that condition, they might design in that condition. So designing in this condition, people may not be aware, the construction people may not aware from where the supply, from where the power supply comes, from where the thermal supply comes. They don't understand about that one. In that condition, there should be a training session is required for the construction people in that location. So example, there will be a lot of hidden hazards. As I said, from where the supply comes, the people will be not aware about that one. So because of what? Because of it is invisible, hard to identify, not easily quantified. Because we can check one cable. Okay, we can check one electrical cable like this. Okay, see this electrical cable. It is, I think it will be 1.5 to 2 square mm cable only. But by seeing this one, maybe an electrical person or an experienced person can answer that what kind of power supply can be received through this electrical cable. But a common person or common man or who is not been involved in electrical thing, he will be not aware about this one, right? So that only a few example I said, invisible, hard to identify, not easily quantify. Maybe this one may be 220 or 240 volt. Maybe this 1.52 square mm will be not receiving more than that, right? So these are some few examples. So in this condition, what will be the severity rate in the site if anything goes wrong? Property damage can be occur, environment spillages can be happen, major injury or fatality, or tripping of a plant. So how to control this kind of hazards? We can use the hierarchy of controls. What is this hierarchy of controls? Elimination, substitution, engineering control, administrative control, and the last equipment is personal protective equipment. So how we can, with a few examples, we can use this hierarchy of control. Okay, example. So forget about the elimination and substitution. So there is no other way we should work. Okay, go to the site. You are viewing a scaffolding structure. If your supervisor, if your manager instruct that go and work on that work at it scaffold using by that platform, the scaffolding structure. Okay. Example, you have a good safety harness. Okay. You are taking that safety harness and you are climbing and working there. Then also an incident happens. Why? Because of what? Because of maybe there is an engineering control is failed, because there should be a proper designed scaffolding structure to be installed. If the engine that is comes under the engineering control. If the engineering control fails, then what is the use of administrative control? Having administrative control in PPE, it won't get suit. Example, there is proper engineering control, there is you have the PPE, then also an incident happens. Because of what? Because of lack of knowledge of the manpower. How? Because this administrative control is getting failed there because of the person who has been faced the incident is not having the knowledge of work at height, how to use the safety belt, how to use the safety harness. Okay, this kind of things can be sorted out. So finally, this hierarchy of control will be supporting to control the site potential hazards. Okay. So what are the main energy sources in the industry? Maybe it's an electrical, when there is a potential of exposure to live conductors or bus bars. Mechanical energy source, when there is a potential of exposure to the rotating equipment or machinery. Thermal energy source, when there is a potential of exposure to residual heat or high temperatures. What is this residual heat? Later on in the other slides, we will be going through in depth of this residual heats. So the final, chemical energy, when there is a potential of exposure to chemicals. Okay. What will be the consequences of releasing hazardous energy? Example, for electrical, it might causes electrocution to the human being or electrical burns. If it is an mechanical, sorry, if it is in chemical, what might it be? It might be caused through chemical burns or cold burns. What is this chemical burns? Chemical burns are tissue damage caused by strong acids, by paint, thinner, gasoline, and many other substances are there. Usually we are aware of such a burn and it causes, but sometimes you may not immediately recognize a burn caused by a milder chemical. Okay, what is this cold burn? If exposure to severe cold causes skin damage, it is called an ice burn or frostbite. Spending time in freezing temperatures or coming into contact with something extremely cold, such as ice cubes or ice pack. This can damage the skin tissue and cause an ice burn. Okay. Then, if it is a pneumatic, as you know, it is a high impact or injury or cut. Mechanical cutting, flying objects. Why? Due to what? Due to loosen of the particles, due to loosen of the materials like that. So radiation, cell mutation. It is, what is the cell mutation? The cell mutation is a cell mutation is a change in the DNA sequence of an organism. Mutations can result from errors in DNA replication during cell division. Okay. So finally, the consequences are continuing like this. Hydraulic, injury or cut. Thermal, hot burn, cold burn. So releasing of energy could result in personal injury and damage to environment and property. So hazard associated with commissioning activities. There are few hazards, it has been mentioned here: toxic gases, explosion, vibration, fire, corrosion, acidification, heavy noise, running equipment like turbine generators or any other rotating equipments, high pressure and temperature, example like water, steam, oil, etc. So toxic gases. These toxic gases can be happen during commissioning, due to some chemical reactions. Vibration due to mechanical defects, it can be having a high vibration. Corrosion due to any chemical reaction, it might corrode the material. Okay. What is this acidification? Acidification due to the suffocation of oxygen deficiency, example like that. The same thing only here also, potential injuries, harm. Okay, injuries due to running or moving parts of equipment or machines. Injuries due to entry of unauthorized, untrained persons to the commissioning area. Damage to hearing ears due to high noise. So if a location is there, if only one motor is is in progress, means so the decibel will be low. Even in the same location there are 5 to 10 motors is running, means there will be a heavy noise, right? So injuries due to flying object or particles. Harm to environment due to oil spillages, chemical spillages. Burns due to contacting hot parts or surfaces with the proper hand protection. Different injuries due to high pressure pipelines are few examples. Serious injuries due to fall from height or toxic gas inhalation. Gas inhalation inside the confined space, maybe in work at height, maybe, as I said, some few examples, it might be the cause of that. So if safety fails during commissioning, what might happen? That means if we are not following the proper safe work procedure method, what might happen? It might lead to an incident like the eyes and loss of sight can be happen. Maybe loss of hearing due to high noise levels. Burns due to contacting hot surfaces such as steam or hot surfaces, as well as fire also. Electrocution due to contacting live parts like live bus bars, cables and panels. Amputations, chemical burns, acidification, damage to environment and property. Regarding to the amputations, I already explained in the previous slide. So these are the few photos which has been caused. This incident has been caused through the electrical arc flash. Okay, so we will be conducting an arc flash training also. At the time it will be elaborated regarding the arc flash. Fire incidents, steam incidents, chemical accidents, and finally rotating equipment accidents. Due to this may happen due to an entanglement, right? So till that, whatever we gone through, what is commissioning? During commissioning, what kind of hazards? Due to that hazards, what are the consequences? So there are few pictures of incidents happened around the world. So finally, we saw some pictures related to that. So these kind of disasters should not be happen in our project. So to control the site condition and to maintain the safe work environment, there is a necessity of HSE control and precautions in the workplace. Shall we go through that now? Control and precautions, planning the work, assessing and managing the risk, controlling the work, capture the learning. So what should be our target? Zero fatality, zero environment accident, zero lost time accident, zero violation and local law regulations. 5 fatal causes of incidents wherever if you enter to a commissioning or to a running plant O&M of any industry, these are the main 5 fatal causes which leads. Example, failure to stop equipment, failure to disconnect the power source, failure to dissipate the residual energy, accidental restarting of equipment, failure to clear work area before starting. Hope everyone maybe understand this. It's a very easy terminology only. If you want an example, I can give some examples for this one with the video format. So, the first general HSE control precautions, what might it be? Only authorized persons to enter the work area. Who is authorized person to enter the work area to the commissioning location? Who is completing this training will be the authorized person to enter the work area in commissioning zone. So enough of firefighting equipment and trained fire watchers is required round the clock for our activity. Protect electrical equipment, electrical supply systems. So the second thing, what is this? Suitable WACR. What is this called WACR? This WACR means work authorization clearance request. In other projects, you may have heard that PTW, permit to work system. Here we use the name as WACR like this, as small. What is this? A document. So it is a separate subject. This WACR is a separate subject. We have separate training program for that. So along with this WACR, what should be attached? A JSA, training details, toolbox details, and adequate lighting. Why we want to attach a JSA? We want to know what kind of activity is going to be happen at the site, and everyone, the worker level and the supervisor and the foreman should know that if we perform this job, these kinds of hazards are associated with the work activity, and what is the consequences of that one, and how to control it, and who will control it. Everything will be in a legal papers, and proper training is required for the activity. And finally, toolbox talk to be done before the work starts. So adequate lighting is required in the commissioning zone especially. So lockout tagout system, LOTO system. What is this? LOTO system is a technique used to prevent releasing or escaping of a hazardous energy source. How we can prevent? How we can lock it? We can close the valve, or we can close the system, and we can use the padlock, okay, with some tag, okay. So the goals of system are to perform safe, isolating and energizing tasks, to protect the health of people and prevent any injury to them, to protect environment as well, to avoid any damage to the equipment. So the workplace should be safe, okay. So we have this much of layers of protection to protect the human being and to maintain the safe work environment. What is this called? Commissioning turnover procedures, procedures, method of statement and risk assessment, system isolation, LOTO permit to work system, organized LOTO office, competent staff, adequate instruction, information, communication, supervision, enforcement and training. Security plan for commissioning for premises. Suitable inspected and calibrated tools for working. Monitoring and enforcement. These are the layers which we can implement to maintain the safe work environment. So assume here this black color which is written layers of protection. Assume that that is an bus bar, electrical bus bar. So here downside you are viewing there are some purple color, there are some box. Okay, in that box you can assume that it is an single breaker. That means 13.8 breaker or 480 or 200, 220 or 6 point, whatever may be. Okay, assume that the layers of protection which is written that black color, it is energized, that bus bar is energized, but the downside which is not energized. So we can assume that layers of protection, that black color you are seeing, it is a live bus bar. Now it is energized. Assume it is energized. So the boxes, you can think that the first boxes goes to an pump, to HP pump. Okay. The next one you can assume that it is going to a transformer. The next one it is going to an another location, to any electrical panel, like that you can assume that one. In this condition, the first panel to be energized, for this one, what is the requirement? First we should come to know that one, because we don't know the downstream location is anybody performing job or not. So in this condition, whenever before energization apart, that the rest of the downstream should be under lock. It means there should be a padlock with a tag. Okay, it is called in the commissioning locations. So excuse me. Okay, this all the downstream systems to be locked by a padlock, and a tag to be accompanied with a padlock indicating who has been applied and when it was applied, the contact number, everything should be mentioned in the tag. How to remove this one? A motor to be energized now. How to remove? There should be a criteria which is called MCC package, mechanical clearance certificate. The construction person and the commissioning person and the QA/QC department should go and walk down to a site and to visit the site condition and to check all the factory test certificates and what are the pre-commissioning activity has been completed. Everything it need to be completed, and a checklist to be assigned for each and every MCC packages. Once the MCC package is approved, what can be done by the commissioning department? They can declare a notice of energization site-wide, so that each and everyone may be aware that this motor is going to be energized on this date at this time by this team members. Okay, so now we have removed this padlock and the tag from that particular breaker. Now the breaker is in service condition. Now example, the solo run test is being completed. Okay, so after the solo run test completed, what made the second job? The second job is to be aligned, okay, with the pump. In this condition, there should be a permit work system to be implemented. So the permit work, the receiver or the engineer or the clearance holder, whoever may be, in each and every project there will be different terminologies. Whoever may be should obtain a work permit. So while they obtain the work permit, the LOTO department, which is being assigned by the commissioning manager in the project, that LOTO department will physically go to the site and they will rack out the breaker and they will provide the padlock. Like same like another, maybe another color padlock or another color tag to identify. Maybe after lock it, what happens? They issue the work permit. The team members can go and do the alignment. Once the alignment has been completed, they can close the work permit so that this padlock and the tag can be removed from that particular breaker. So now it's ready to check. So next they can go ahead for the heat run test the site. Okay. So after that heat run test, what might happen? It's ready for the operational condition of the site. So that system will be handed over to the commissioning operation department so that they will be running this motor or pump according to the suitable requirement of the project. That means maybe it needs some preservations or whatever may be, they will be starting the motor. So this is an example for a motor. As I said, come to the second box. It is written, what is written here? Procedures, method of statement, like that. Okay. In these conditions, okay, think that it is in transformer. Maybe think that it is in 13.8 is upstream and the downstream maybe it is in 480. Okay. This 13.8 feeds to one primary transformer which goes 13.8 and the secondary will be a 480 and the 480 will be feeding to an electrical panel. So that electrical panel also will be having another 5 to 10 downstream outgoings, right? So in that condition, that should before releasing the padlock from this procedure method of statement, that panel, so that before energizing of the transformer, that downstream panels, what are the outgoings? All the outgoings to be under lock. Why? The reason, if you energize here, the power supply will flows wherever it is in open condition, wherever the breaker is in service condition, the electrical supply will flow till the end. Okay, so this might happen an incident fatality inside the site. So to maintain the safe work environment only, we are locking the downstreams one by one. Okay, now as I said, the transformer is energized, the electrical panel energized. From there are 10 outgoings. Okay. Example, think that the last point is maybe the lighting. Example, how the lighting works. 13.8, it step down to the 480. From the 480, they use another tri-type transformer. From that tri-type transformer, it goes to as a 220 or 240. And the 240, it feeds to one main light distribution board, and that board can be feeds to another lighting panel, and that lighting panel which will be having an individual breaker for individual lighting fittings. So the final is the light fitting. In this condition, each and every breaker to be locked one by one, using the notice of energization, this padlock to be removed and energization can be done as site-wide nowadays. Okay, I hope everyone may getting an idea of this one, right? So these are some layers of protection, as I said: commissioning turnover procedures, security plan procedures, system isolation, load to perimeter system, organized load to office, monitoring, enforcement. These are the layers of protections examples. Okay, here this slide, that is the what I said with QA QC, with the commissioning team, with the construction should go walk down like this. Whatever I said, this is completed in this slide. Okay, commissioning area and identification security. Why it is required? Because in the construction field, while we hand over to commissioning, at the same time we cannot switch on all the breakers, or we cannot energize all the panels. In these conditions, if an example, this is a room, here there are 10 electrical panels, any one electrical panel only will be energized. Rest of the thing, it is not required at this time according to the requirement of operation. So what might it be? So to avoid the confusions for the human, we can identify the energized and we can identify the not energized equipments. Like few examples. Relevant system owner will be placing commissioning tape and signages. Each and every project will be having their own color coding systems. Maybe sometimes you can use black and white, or sometimes you can use yellow and black. Sorry, sometimes you can use blue and white, whatever it may be. Will be placed commissioning tape and signages, which makes clear that the system area is under commissioning control and any work on that system should be under the LOTO WACR. What is the WACR? I already said perimeter system. That is called WACR. Excuse me. So fencing will be provided to all commissioning premises. So whoever wants to enter to the commissioning zone, there will be a logbook. They should sign it. Then only they can enter to the commissioning zone. If a whole building or area is taken by commissioning team, even though some systems are not yet handed over, it is mandatory to work under the commissioning access WACR. What is this? Assume this is an electrical room. Here there are 10 electrical panels. Okay. 9 electrical panels are not being energized. Only one panel is energized. That also not the AC supply, the DC supply is being energized. Then also that area you should assume, you should declare that it is in commissioning control zone. Why? Because before it was being a dead panels, now it is a live panel. There are power supplies available. So to control the system and to have a safe environment, we should consider that location as in commissioning zone, so that the construction permit should not be valid for that location, and the commissioning new permit or system should be implemented in that location. Okay, so there will be a security will be appointed at required location. He will be controlling the unauthorized entry. So maintain entry, logbook, and making sure that WACR is available. This is responsibility. So we can give some identifications. If he belongs to a commissioning team, he can have this kind of stickers, a unique stickers, color. If he's who is authorized to enter to the commissioning zone, he can also have a different kind of stickers, color. Here we have mentioned here blue, and here we have mentioned red for the PTW receivers who can come to the LOTO office to obtain the work permit. Okay. So finally, this is a green. Why we have given this green? This is for the visitors and vendors to identify to easily to identify the personnel in the site. So here, what is this? As I said previously, once the system is handed over to the commissioning, there should be a variety of any unique color of identification stickers to be displayed in the panels or in the motors or whatever in the locations. These are few examples. Then it can be mentioned like under commissioning control, do not touch, danger, when it was energized, or what is the contact number. Like the few descriptions can be given in this one. As I said first, here for the easy understanding, we should have some color identifications. As I said first, once the NCC is completed, we are providing the boundary isolation. What is this called boundary isolations? Boundary isolation means the boundary between the commissioning and construction. As I said lastly, the upstream is energized, but the downstream is not energized because the construction activity is going on. So if we are not controlling that one, the people who is working on downstream can be affected. to have a safe work environment, we can lock the upstream so that it won't flows to the downstream. So the rest of the construction activity can be worked in a safe manner. So first we are providing this boundary isolation. As I said, when we are removing this boundary isolation, when a notice of energization has been happened, we are removing this upstream and we are changing this one to the another location. That means from upstream to downstream. Then if it is there is another secondary or downstream means, so consider the second downstream as the first upstream, like that. Okay. So this is another padlock, same padlock color but with different tag. Why? As I said, after the solar run test, okay, there may be a alignment or otherwise any maintenance activity or any punch list deficiency activity. For this activity, the system should be isolated, okay, and it should be locked. For that one, we have given another color tag for the identification in the site. So this is called PTW Lotto. Okay, why it is called PTW Lotto? Because they have requested through an work permit to lock that one. So we are calling it as an PTW Lotto. What is this red color with no tags? Once we have completed the lock in the site according to the PTW Lotto, that keys we are carrying it to the office and we are placing that keys inside this box. This is called as a satellite box or lockout box. Okay, so we are providing this key inside this box and this box has two padlocks. Okay, this padlock, this blue color padlock, is controlled by the Lotto administrator. Okay, and this red padlock is controlled by the permit receiver. Okay, so there will be two padlocks which is locked by this box. So without this person knowledge, he cannot remove the key. Without this person knowledge, this person cannot remove the key which is placed inside. So there will be a paper with the transparent paper, a transparent pouch. It will be pasted with the paper which is called the permit work system photocopy and the isolation certificate. Each isolation certificate will be having a unique number. Okay, so this key will be handed over. This red padlock key will be handed over to the permit receiver with the permit with the ziplock bag. In this ziplock bag, we can place the key and we can give the key to them. So while he finishes his work permit, he closed this work permit. At this time, we will be removing this key and the Lotto department key from this box. So we can open this box and we can take the key outside and we can go to the site and we can remove the system which is isolated and we can restore the system for the operational activity. So what is this purple? So in commissioning there are several departments which is called commissioning operations, commissioning electrical, commissioning mechanical, commissioning chemical, commissioning INC. Like this there are each departments. So each department should have their own personal padlock. In some conditions, as I said, the TOP boundary has been completed, the solar run has been completed, okay, and the heat run is ongoing condition. The system is not been handed over to the operation, commissioning operation. In this condition, in this transit period, the department, the commissioning department of electrical, mechanical will be the owner of the system. So they can lock their system until they hand over the system to the commissioning operation for the operational activity. So each department can have a tag and color padlock with the different color padlocks. Here we can electrical department can use purple padlock, black can be used by mechanical department, INC can use the green, and the yellow padlock can be used by the operational department. Why this operational departments require this padlock? Because sometimes some of the wall it will be in the condition to be in open and lock, because any person should not misoperate the wall, which will be leading to a plant trip, plant shutdown. So in this condition they can also use padlocks in this site. So management control precautions, appropriate hearing protection to be worn and signs to be posted. Limited duration of exposure to high noise. No one may enter confined space without the appropriate training. A permit is required for the confined space entry. All confined spaces must be identified in the project. So now we can look it for the isolation. What is this isolation? Isolation is the disconnection or segregation of equipment by use of an isolating device or adequate physical separation. For recently I said we can use this padlock with the tag, everything. In some locations this padlock or this tag will be not sufficient. Okay, for that what kind of segregation or isolating device can be used, we can check in the next slide. An isolated device physically prevents the transmission or release of the energy. Okay, so now this is the pipeline. Maybe we are locking this location. So after this location, example the wall is there. We are closing the wall and we are providing this padlock. So no one cannot remove this padlock and no one cannot operate this wall. So the power supply or the water or steam, whatever, it cannot flow to the another location. Okay, prior to starting any work, and make sure the system you plan to work on is isolated. So whatever maintenance activity or any deficiency activity or troubleshooting, whatever thing you are going to perform, ensure that it is isolated or not. Before any work, test or NOE LOTO keys must held by an authorized person who is registered at LOTO office in the authorized person's log. All incoming and outgoing energy must be isolated. Always make sure that 100% the system is at zero energy status. Okay, so maybe it has been locked. Okay, what is the next step we should do? We should ensure that there is a zero energy status. How you will check zero energy status? You can use any emergency push button, or you can use the local control panel to start. These are the few conditions, or you can use your multimeter to check the voltage. Okay, or if it is in pipeline, you can check the drains or the vent pipelines, vent lines. These are few examples to ensure the 100% sure that the system is zero energy. As I said, there are some suitable isolating methods for the pipelines. If the padlock is not working on that location, you can use blinds, double block and bleed, dropout spoon, spectacle blind, blind flange. Okay, walls can be locked. This kind of second photo you can see, you can put blind like this. You can remove the between spools. Okay, these are few examples. So if it is an electrical, as you know, we can provide the we can provide the padlock with the tag and clearance form. What is this clearance form? As I said, isolation certificate is called clearance form. Okay, in that one, both parties need to be signature. Why both parties need to be signature? Because that is a mutual understanding that, okay, that is a mutual understanding that where we are providing the LOTO, okay, who is providing the LOTO and who has requested the LOTO, and finally that we have ensured that there is a zero status of energy. It is a legal document. Okay. So machinery, electrical and distribution board testing shall be monitored continuously and never left unattended in the site. So you are going for a break, if you are going for a lunch, if the day has been completed, you should not leave it as it is. You should cover it, or you provide proper barricade with adequate signages. So HSE controlled precautions in substations, especially trained and authorized person only should enter to the location. Proper access control to be implemented. Logbook should be available and first aid boxes should be available in the substations. So additional hazards like electrocution, arc flash, fire, darkness in the event of power failure. So precautions: do not work without valid permit in the commissioning zone. Close supervision is required. No smoking, no eating, no drinking outside. Do not tamper with any switches, boards, tags, panels, etc. Signboards. Example: if the padlock is hanging in the breaker, so while we go, we should not pull and we should not remove this tag from there. That is the tampering. The example of tampering, that is the tampering. What might happen? This, if we miss this tag, maybe we are not able to find it out where it has been placed, what is the contact number. These are the few details will be missing. So finally, you need the required PPE, emergency light. And the last one, do not work alone in the commissioning zone. Precautions: do not open any energized panel covers which is already energized. Okay, must know the escape route. Whenever you go on for any work activity, you should know all these three items: escape route, emergency eye wash, paging system, then emergency contact numbers, or assembly point. This and all you should be aware about the things. So do not wear metal ornaments like bracelets. See example like this and all. You should not use the metal ornaments on your hand while you are working on electrical panels. Do not use any metal tools or objects, aluminum ladders, scaffold tubes, which is proximity tool to the live electrical equipment. Remove all tools and debris. Leave the work area clean once you have completed the job or on the end of the day. So here I already said a small sticker identification signage sticker will be not enough for a huge area. For in this condition, you can use this kind of barricade tape which will be indicating that this area is being controlled by the commissioning zone. So always in a project there should be minimum 2 to 3 of kind of barricade tapes. Example, for construction one color, for commissioning one color, for radiography one color, so that the people who are working in the site can be easily identified and they can react to that condition. So these are some for some ideas. We have given some area identification signage which has been handed over from construction to commissioning. To indicate that condition, we are having some few methods here. So security plan, always there should be security in the commissioning zone in all the electrical buildings, especially any critical locations also. Entry login, log sheet should be maintained. So minimum PPE is required like hard hat, goggles. If you are entering to the electrical substations, there should be an clear glasses. Okay, steel toe boot, ear muffs, ear puff, ear plugs or earplugs, gloves, and if it is more than 1.8 meter height from the ground level, we can use the safety harness which has the full body safety harness. So as we are working in the substations, there should be arc flash materials, earth rods, insulated mat, arc flash coat, shoots, everything. So the permit aims and goals are, what is that one? Defines roles, responsibility and activity that must be performed to minimize the risk of the injury or damage when working on plant and equipment, and to define the minimum system requirements for isolation of plant and equipment from hazardous material, mechanical, electrical or any other sources, to protect people from injury, harm to the environment and damage to plant and equipment. The aim is to ensure that proper planning and consideration is given to the risk of any particular job as per the hierarchy of risk management. For any kind of construction work in a commissioning area, a WSR from the LOTO office is essential. Working without LOTO WSR is defined as a life-threatening behavior and violators could be subjected to dismissal from the project. So commissioning team authorized employees shall do follow, notify, shut down, isolate, lock and tag, dissipate and verify. What is this follow? Follow the procedure and the plan. Notify to the affected employees of the work organization. Shut down equipment at the operating controls. Isolate all energy sources from the equipment. Lock and tag all required isolating devices. Dissipate all the stored. What is this dissipate? Dissipate means the stored energy which is in the electrical or by the pipelines. It should be exhaust. Okay, before removing any pipelines, we should ensure that no residual energy inside the pipeline. Or if it is an electrical, we should ensure with the earth rod to earthing all the electrical lines, then we can go for the job. So that is the verify the isolation. After the isolation, we should need to check as per the single line drawing we have been done or not, as per the requirement we have done or not, like that. That are the few examples. So affected employee, who is this affected employee? The affected employees stay clear of the work area as much as possible. Never interfere or tamper with the lock or tag. Report all unusual conditions to his supervisor or foreman. Shall not enter barricaded area without permission. Environment. We shall never forget the environment. Housekeeping is required, prevents incident and protects the environment. HSE control precautions during commissioning is oil spillages shall be prevented, good supervision, drip trays, plastic sheets, spill kits. So in case of emergency, we can call to the emergency contact number and you can list the type of emergency, example if it is a fire, injury, leakage, etc. And finally the list of the location of emergency where it has been happened. So then you can say your name, your badge number and your company of your name and go to the nearest assembly point. Okay. So guidelines, what are the guidelines here? Visitors can be guided at all times while on commissioning premises by the commissioning inducted personnel. Sign in and sign out for the commissioning areas. Location of emergency exit and shower shall be shown to visitors by the guiding person. He should be aware that one while he comes to the site, that person should be aware that where is the assembly point, where is the power supply. Okay, everything it should be trained for them. Touching of any system either dead or alive is prohibited. Never try to touch or pass through through an area where there is a steam leak. In case of steam leak, please do not panic or run in opposite direction away from the leak and call to the emergency contact number. In case of contact with a chemical phase, ask to call to the contact number, to the emergency contact number, and in the emergency shower, use the emergency shower affected area until help arrives. Never rub the chemical cleaning area, chemical affected area. So access into the commissioning zone. The persons who work every day permanently in commissioning zone will get commissioning will get commissioning induction sticker, as I said in that yellow color. That excuse me, that blue sticker that will be provided. That means once that blue sticker who is receiving, he can go to work inside the commissioning zone with the support of the permit work system. A list of the names will be kept in the LOTO office who have been attended. Visitors, vendors shall be accompanied by someone from the commissioning department. Only those employees who have passed this training can enter with the WCR to repair or maintenance work on equipment under the ownership of commissioning department. It is considered a breach of the lockout tagout procedure to enter the commissioning zone without receiving this training. So as I said previously, we will be looking after some of the videos, okay, what the mistake has been happened and how they are making it clear and what should be clear for us, okay. Everything will be mentioned in the, what is that, video program, okay. So thank you for the valuable time to spend with us to watch this session. Okay, this can be implemented in your project also. You can use any other requirement which can be an additional point for safety purpose. You can add that also. So thank you for viewing this one. Once again, greetings to everyone who watched this one. Thank you. Bye bye.